Now, what's going on, everybody in the chat? Thank y'all for coming in live with us tonight. Myself, Bo Knows, and my brother Tech in the bathroom, and our beautiful sister, Miss Joy. How is everybody tonight? Before we even get started, Miss Joy, holler at them.
Hey guys, what's going on? Thank you for coming
How is
through.
everybody tonight?
That's me right there. That's all I have to make sure.
Joy, holler at them.
That's me. Sorry about that.
Oh, you're right. You're right.
Just saying what's up. Thank you for allowing me to come on again. And I can't wait for us to have this conversation. It's much needed.
Okay. My brother Tech just got back from vacation. How you doing, Tech?
Man, hey, I'm still on cloud nine, man. I can't wait to go back, man. We're doing a cruise down to the Bahamas, so I can't wait, man.
Oh, when y'all doing that?
We're doing it next year. We do a vacation every year, either in July or early June. It's either though. We've been doing it in June because of the graduations. Like my sisters and I, we had our kids close together, so every year is the graduation.
Right. Right.
And then when we get finished with the high schools, all of them in college, everyone had the college graduation. Then it's gonna be the weddings, So, man, I do a lot with my family, man. And as you can see, there's a lot of us. We do like 23, 26 deep every year.
That's what's up.
And they be like, yeah, this your family reunion? No, this not even our whole family.
That's what's up. And to all the graduates that came out this year, because I seen, if y'all remember, it hasn't been too long ago, but Tech did a graduation for his son at their house, and that was a real nice setup that he did. So, congratulations to all the grads from high school, from college. Good luck. Congratulations to everybody. Also, I missed out, and I'm gonna apologize to my sister because she's online. She did her 500 show the other week.
That's okay.
And y'all get to her because she does a live show every day. I tune in and I listen. I sit in the background and look, her topics are really good. I like the way that she does her inspirational, and I might put her on the spot tonight because there's a certain song she be singing.
Oh, but you know what? A few little birdies told me you were busy that night for good reasons. I was like, okay.
Little birdie told you that?
A lot of birdies said so.
What
they said. What they said, but you got to watch the whole live to find out. That was a 4-hour live.
Oh, for real?
It was 4 hours.
Wow.
Oh, okay. We got to ask some birdies, and I bet one of them was Show Enough TV. What's up, Show Enough?
I think Show Enough was being good.
Oh, really? Okay. Usually when Show Enough is being good.
Right?
Huh?
What were you doing for 4 hours?
Oh, no, we did a pre-celebration of my 500th episode of Hello World.
Mm-hmm.
So I invited
left. Yeah. I remember
DST.
before I left.
Yeah, I invited the whole DST to come through because y'all have been so supportive to my channel, collectively and individually. So I wanted you guys to be there to celebrate with me.
That's what's up.
Awesome, man. Mm-hmm. Oh, I missed it too, but I had good reason. I was on vacation. I don't know what he was doing for 4 hours. You had 4 hours to join the show, J Mac. It don't take that long to troubleshoot Wi-Fi.
Really, Jack?
Troubleshoot Wi-Fi in 15 minutes.
Oh, heck no. That's what's up. Let's see who we got in the chat tonight. I see Andy Large. What's up, GoPro? Miss Anderia. And again, our brother Shona TV is in the house. Miss Lenora, Andy Large. What's up, Bama fan? Aaron 76. Let's see. We just move on. What's up, Giorgio? Miss Monique Young. What's up? So as I'm going down, Bo is on his way home, so he'll be in a little bit. You guys were wondering why he's not on the panel, but he will be here shortly. Fred the Jammer, what's going on? And as I'm going down, just to see who's popping in and staying for the show. Tonight's subject is just a conversation piece, and basically that's why I wanted ask Joy to come on here. Tech, I know he has some good conversations of what we're about to talk about tonight, and I know Joy does because I've listened to her her shows and some things she touches on, which goes along with this. And I'm sure Bo will talk about it. If any other DST1 members want to pop in, you're more than welcome to do that. But tonight's topic, we want to discuss like things that are going on today as of right now. You know, as far as the killing of our brother a couple weeks ago, the situation of how we're trying to make changes, bring racism to a halt, and just look at each other as people instead of looking at each other as races. You got to remember, if you don't know, you need to look it up. God didn't make race, man did. So we should be all as one people, but you have people who want to separate that. The other thing is how are you dealing with the COVID situation? It's like everything is opening or trying to open back up. Um, some people are walking around without masks or just thinking this is a hoax. And now you see some of the numbers in the southern states or some states out west where it's going back up. How are people dealing with that? And last, and to me, most important to me, is a time that we support ourselves and not to offend nobody else, but it's a time that we support each other. You think back in history where there was a time where we had our own city, we had our own way of making money, we had our own uh, representatives that were in a position of being governors and all positions of law, and then for some reason that shot away for a little while. There were certain situations that took those rights away when we were doing good for ourselves. So my thing is, because I see a couple of good things on Facebook. There's a couple of pages on there where we're supporting each other in our businesses, and that's the main thing. We strive to do our business. Let's support ourselves. So if you're interested, you want to stay and hear the conversation, good. If you think you'll be offended, go ahead and leave. This is conversation because I want to support us as a people as we grow every day. So I'm gonna ask Miss Joy, pick any subject that you want to start with and kick it with me. What you think about a couple of these subjects we are going to touch tonight?
I mean, they all are interchangeable and they're relatable. Um, I feel like if we ultimately put humanity first, then all of the things that have been separating and dividing us will no longer be. It won't be important anymore. Um, as far as how I've been dealing with the COVID situation and how in the beginning I was just a tiny bit nervous, but then I remembered, you know, I believe that God, my creator, or whomever you want to associate to your higher power, whatever belief, but I believe that God says in his word that all my needs will be provided. And that's the one thing that rang out to me when I got furloughed from my job. Because I was like, I've never been furloughed before, or anything like that. And then I was like, wait a second, we're having a global crisis. So it's fine. I called every single one of my creditors, my debtors. I called every single last one of them and said, hey, I'm not working right now. And they said, that's fine. So that was taken care of. Then the government started giving us money for free. And I said, well, shoot, I don't have to worry about anything. And I didn't have to wake up early anymore for at least a month and some change. I didn't have to wake up. I used it to my advantage. Long story short, I took the time to work on my own business more. And, just in case my job didn't come back, I was like, well, I have to go to my fallback plan number 2. So it made me tighten up in my own personal life, in my own business, and just reminded me that nothing is meant to last forever. And what are you going to do? How are you going to act? So I just felt like right now, how I feel is if everything was to go away, at least I have part of my happiness. And that's more important to me. And peace. Take my peace away and I'm a wreck. But other than that, I'm good. It's fine. I did go back to work middle of May. I'm still adjusting to going back. But I'm thankful either way. I still have the job. I still have the money that the government gave me. I didn't spend it. I saved it all. And I'm good. So.
Now, one thing you just said about the government gave you free money. Is that money actually free?
No. I've been paying I've been paying unemployment taxes for like over 50 years. So it's just giving me a tiny portion of what I've paid into to society for all those years, never missing a day of work, never really, utilizing unemployment. So I was just like, forget that. I'll take it. So.
Okay. Mr. Tech, you want to chime in?
On a COVID thing, as far as like money and stuff like that, right before there was any stay-at-home orders or whatever, I did a series of live shows when I was telling people, look, COVID gets hitting, and that's the great thing about YouTube, because you can go back and watch the videos, right? Look, I was like, look, COVID is hitting, and I say this exact phrase. I say people are going to self-quarantine because they're going to be scared. Little did I know at the time that the government, local municipalities, and federal government was going to start asking people to shelter in place or stay at home. And I told people you have to have multiple streams of income. And I explained how the Fire Stick selling system work. I explained how selling hotspots and internet works. I explained how selling IPTV work. And I was like, gosh, people's gonna be looking for entertainment. So I put that out into the atmosphere, and some people took me up on it, and they did well, right? So like Miss Joy said, some people was able to save that money because they had extra income coming in. Some people actually started IPTV companies and started doing well. So no matter what, if you're looking for financial security, no matter if you're in a crisis or whatever, a pandemic or whatever, if you have multiple streams of income, you can make it. You can make it. It's a little scarier because you don't have a person cutting you the same amount every week or every other week, right? Like you do on a 9 to 5. Here's the great thing: you determine how much you want to make.
I'm sorry, say it again.
Here's the great thing: you determine how much you want to make, right? Because you go as far as you push yourself,
right?
So that's how it is. But yeah, with the COVID thing, I live in the South, man. I deal with it all the time. Y'all know inherently I work in a very politically charged environment. That's what I do for a living.
Mm-hmm.
So if you don't wear a mask, then you pro. And look, not everyone, right? If you don't wear a mask, you pro Donald Trump. If you do wear a mask, you anti Donald Trump. How did wearing a mask become so political?
Right.
And so now the pushback is, well, you got the rioters, the people out there that's riding and looting, right? And the protesters, they don't have a mask on. Why y'all trying to make us wear a mask? Like, man, what are we, 5?
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right. Either you want to be well or you want to
I had the ice cream because Johnny had the ice cream, right? Like getting the ice cream without mommy and daddy permission is still wrong. It can be detrimental to your health depending on your upbringing. In my house, put your hand in the cookie jar. It was, you know what I'm saying? My mom believed in spankings, good spankings. Call them people spankings. Run away from home spankings. So yeah, man. So yeah, and in my little community, man, when I seen a lot of people who look like me die, and fairly young people die, went to card games.
Mm-hmm.
How they're able to trace this stuff back. Went to card games, thought it was a game, right? Thought it was funny. Oh, it only affects old people. Right. Then middle-aged people started dying. Then it's mystery disease in young people, right? It's sort of like foot and mouth disease, and it's like inflammation around the heart start killing young people. But all of them who died tested positive for COVID. And then now currently, the young people in Arizona and Texas and Florida, now statistically, it's a lot of young people that's getting it. So our governor, we were scheduled to move to phase 3. Right? That's basically, we in phase 2. Basically, everything opened up. Yesterday, he did a live news conference. He was like, "Look, we was doing good. We're headed in the wrong direction. Today, Louisiana hit the highest day of confirmed cases, since April." So the governor's like, we're not going into phase 3. We're going to stay in phase 2. And in 2 weeks, I'm going to let y'all know if we need to backtrack some more.
Right.
You can't listen. I'm going to say this. I'm going to let somebody else talk. I could do this all day. You can't listen to politicians. I'm going to say it again. You can't listen to politicians when it's concerning your health. So, Tech, when do you listen to politicians? You listen to a politician when they've been influenced by you.
Exactly.
I'm gonna say it again. You listen to a politician when they've been influenced by you. Everything a politician is saying, someone has taught him or her that. A staff will bring in a lobbyist, and the lobbyist educate that politician, him or her, on the issue. That's where they get their talking points from. There's no way they can understand all of these issues. That's why it's so important that we partake in the political system. So when it comes down to your health, you probably need to listen to a scientist. So when the scientists told y'all that even in Africa, right? Because it still was in the cooler months when it started hitting. Remember, it still was in the cooler months. That's like, look, people getting it in Africa, and that's a hot climate. It's still gonna be with us in the summer because we don't have a vaccine. But politicians said no. When the summer comes, the humidity and the heat gonna kill COVID. Man, we're in June. It don't get no hotter than this in Louisiana.
Right.
So it's spreading. So really, guys, the only time you listen to a politician when you are the one educating him or her, because it's not like all of them are bad people. It's just that they don't understand all of the issues.
Right. They don't have all the right information.
Yeah.
So they want to stay in office. They need to learn from the people that's around them.
Huh? Say that again.
That's right. They do. And you basically you gotta you as individuals, we all know our health. And to a certain point we know our health. We know when we're getting sick. We know when we're hurting on some parts of our bodies. We know when we have bad headaches. What do you do then? You go to what? Your physician, your family doctor. Family doctor more or less tries to explain to you what is ailing you, how to take care of it. But in this case, they don't have a cure for COVID. They're putting COVID in what, 3 stages, and the third stage is the worst, where you end up in a hospital and you're possibly on a ventilator. So COVID, this is very serious. Now I see people every day outside walking around without a mask. Okay, I understand if you out by yourself, you walking in the park, okay, you're not around nobody. But if you're around a group of people, you need to protect yourself. You either want to protect yourself, be in a hospital, or blatantly be 6 feet deep. Which one do you want to choose?
I mean, I think that this is an airborne virus, so I don't think there's ever gonna be a comfortable time for all phases to be open. So like, what do you do then? You have to start practicing some type of normalcy.
Right.
Even if you give it 2 weeks, somebody's gonna go outside that doesn't show signs of the disease. They're gonna interact with so many people, and then people are just gonna keep getting sick over and over, even after 2 weeks. So I don't know how we're gonna get past this particular thing, if ever. But I definitely don't believe this is. Hey, Bo.
Hey, what are you doing?
Good.
What's up,
I definitely don't think this is something that is made from. I don't think this is nature. This is a human thing.
Human thing.
Because nature will cure itself, but there is no cure for this, and I don't think there ever will be.
Yeah, I'm not a conspiracy theorist type of person, but I admit that this is a strange disease, and I think that this was man-made. Me personally, I could be wrong, but the way that it mutates, the way that it affects different populations, this thing is adjusting to too many old people, young people, middle-aged people, and now infants and toddlers and stuff like that. Like, man, it's just affecting, and then it impacts certain people different ways.
Right.
So it's a trained killer, in my opinion.
Of course, I mean, but even still, just think about it. Even in a cycle of nature always recycles itself, right? A tree sheds its branch, a tree sheds its leaves, and then every season that branch comes. This virus, if it was natural, it would be over in 2 weeks because your immune system would know how to fight it. But even our own immune systems don't know how to fight this. That means that our bodies have never been exposed to something like this. So it's definitely I personally believe that it was definitely something brought on, but for whatever greater cause that has nothing to do with any of us except for control. That's my opinion.
And I'm gonna post up 2 quick comments, and I'm gonna ask my brother
It's true. I agree with that too,
to
bro.
chime in. GoPro Donnie said masks don't protect you from getting it. Okay,
you
I
know
like
what?
that point. Now look at this point right here. But showing us that the mask is to protect you from people around you.
But you know what I would love to see? I would love to see a study on the effects of the material that we breathe in from the mask for a certain amount of time. Because some of us have to wear the mask all day long, and you get out of the mask for a couple hours when you go to bed, and then the effects that it has on your ear. I would love to see someone do a scientific theory on that. It can't be good either.
Yeah. My partner in crime, you want to chime in? He said, nope.
What's up, y'all? Chime in on what? What you want? What you need me to chime in on?
I mean,
like y'all doing enough.
We were going to try to touch on a couple of topics tonight, and the main one we was talking about how people are dealing with COVID and how you're getting through it. Secondly, if we can, just briefly go over what's happened in the last 3 weeks. About a brother passing 11 days ago and how people were dealing with it. And basically, third, and not to offend anybody, but is it time for us to really start supporting ourselves in a way that we know that we can do things like make our own businesses like we had once before? Not like we don't have now, but there was a certain time period in our history we had our own city, we had our own banks, we had everything. So that's just a couple of things which we're gonna try to touch on.
So y'all doing some touching there.
Just a little bit.
I see. I'm like, what I walk in on?
Oh, you walked in some good stuff, and not to be funny, but who can't relate, go to the next channel. It might not be for you tonight.
Or stick around and come and listen.
Or don't push them out. My biggest thing is don't push nobody out. The reason why I say don't push them out because you never know what somebody else can learn about other cultures, other things that's going on. It's always good when you can bring, when you can educate. Not so much even bring, but when you can educate, you got to think about it. They said that today about when I was watching Shannon and I was watching Shannon and Skip today with Killer Mike. That's you got to look at it. When you're able to educate, that's always the best way for me. You can educate somebody because when it comes to somebody else and their background, then it's always good to know because we go by what we're being told.
Right.
We don't know the background behind it. If you don't know the background behind somebody's race, so they say, then you think about it. You don't know unless you've been educated about it. For me.
So let me challenge that theory because
wait 1 second. Give me 1 second, Tech. I'm going to invite welcome my brother LJ in the house. He just popped in. How you doing, LJ?
What's up?
Hey. Thank you for coming in tonight, bro.
Good to be here, my brother.
Tech, if you want to go ahead and continue, then we're going to touch on Miss Monique's statement.
Yeah. I just push back on the theory about the education part because we're kind of talking about this offline right before the show started, and I was talking to one of my funders today, which happened to be Caucasian, as you know, most of my funders are, and I sit on a particular board and we're about to hire executive directors, a lot of state money, like $18 million seed money. So we want to make sure we pick the right choice. And whenever you're dealing with state money, of course, there's mandatory things you have to do for diversity, especially if you're hiring someone. And she asked me, she was like, a lot of people on the hiring committee, because we got the board, then we have the hiring committee, which are members of the board, but it's a smaller committee. I happen to be on that hiring committee. A lot of the members respect you because of your unique position. Unique position meaning I'm black, right? So It's like, do we need diversity training for the board? And I was like, I agree, we need diversity training for the board, but it's not my job to educate white people about black people.
Mm-hmm.
It's like it wasn't. It's not my job to educate white people about black people, just as it wasn't white people's job to educate me on their culture, right? As I explained to her, I talk different in a boardroom, right, than I talk around my family and friends. Why? I learned proper decorum, how to conduct myself around business. I learned how to conduct myself around Bob barbecue or Uncle Skip barbecue, right? I
Mm-hmm.
learned that. I took the time to invest on how I'm being perceived, what's sensitive, what subjects I should bring up and not bring up. I learned how not to be offensive around my like if I'm shooting a breeze with Bo, LJ, J Mag or something like that, and I say certain or use certain vernaculars, I won't use that if I'm at Bob Barbecue, right? So I feel like if you really want to make roads in, I feel like you need to invest time and learn about the culture.
Right.
'Cause I've been making concessions my whole life.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that's because that's our DNA pattern. I think that's just what we've always been, like us as a culture, or darker hued people. We've always been very submissive and always been very forgiving to anybody. So I
Right.
think that's probably the reason why a lot throughout history, we haven't really pushed back. But now we're pushing back a little, and then we have support, so we feel like it's okay to push back. And
Mm-hmm.
I feel like historically, that's what we've always done. So if we want to change history, then we have to start changing the DNA coding of how we respond to things.
Right.
So
And you look at like what Monique said earlier. She said, I'm an intake specialist for COVID. We have several meetings every week about it. The information is very scary.
mm,
So I'll take the last sentence that she put in there. The information is very scary. So when someone says that, to me, what are we not being told about it? If they're having meetings every week and they're trying to deal with it and help their patients and help themselves, not that everything should be put in the news, but what is a couple single details that we're not being told?
what
That's
if
just,
she,
that's just
what
moving.
what if some of her information is that they're purposely giving it to people? Like, you don't know what that scary information really is. Not to put words in her mouth, but it could be from any extreme.
Right.
So
Well, here's the thing: if you haven't if you haven't had the opportunity to partake in a research study or whatever, a epidemiologist would tell you that there's variables when you're studying a group of people, right? So not comparing people to animals or whatever, but let's just use an example. If you were to study a herd of cows, right? And you were to inflict them with a disease, and you were to inflict another herd of cows. What the researcher would do is they will look for similarities, like things that are similar, but there's always going to be different variables, right? So the disease might affect all cows. All cows might get a runny nose, but you might have that one cow that might get diarrhea. That's an outliner, right? And so whenever there's a new disease, you're studying the things that are common. That's why when it first came out, they was like, hey, you're gonna have shortness of breath and a fever. I think it was like 3 symptoms. Then like 2 months later, they added 3 more symptoms like headache, diarrhea, stuff like that, right? Because you're always gonna have the things that are similar, and then you have to study those outliers. So why do this cow get diarrhea and the other cows don't? Well, this cow it have blood type O, so cows with blood type O is more susceptible to diarrhea from the same virus, and that's why this what makes this disease so scary. Is that there's no vaccine and there's no real treatment for it, and they still studying it. They still have to study this disease. And I was part of after the BPR spill. There was a golf consumption sector where the government granted like $1 billion. So a lot of nonprofits and universities got money. So I was on a research team with the Medical Universities of Texas and Tulane. And those researchers really taught me how the process worked. And then after that, I was part of the National Scientist grant, which allow us to go out into the community and train people as citizen scientists and how to use the chain of command, how to find evidence, how you collect it, how you document it, and stuff like that. And there's a lot of scary things out here in this world, but this virus is scary because it has to be studied.
Right.
And during the process of studying it, it's time.
Yeah.
And during that time, if people not taking the proper measures, if J Mac exposed himself to it, he don't look sick when he comes to me, And if J Mac is not a responsible person, I think he is a responsible person. I can let my guards down. I get sick, bring it back to my family.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I see that look on your face, showing up. What's on your mind?
I'm just listening, man.
I know that look.
The part what Tech was saying is one of the reasons why I was saying about masses. We're so hung up on that. Well, I'm not sick, I don't need to wear a mask. The thing is, with wearing a mask is showing respect to someone else. There's a lot of people that's walking around right now that's asymptomatic. We seen D.L. Hughley that's been doing the show regular pass out the other night at a comedy show and find out that he has it. So I think one of the things we should be doing is trying to find out what's the connection with these people that are asymptomatic. See what's the difference. Start doing a lot of more gene, testing and things like that. But like I said, the way I look at it is that the mask that I wear wherever that I go, it's not necessarily me thinking of me saying that I don't want to catch it. The thing is that maybe I might be asymptomatic and I might have it and not knowing and give it to someone else. So when I wear my mask, for me, it's a sign of respect for people that's around me. That's how I look at it.
Right. Because you got to look out for yourself first.
Yeah.
Right?
Because see, we go on by what we hear on TV. TV is just what it is. It's television. They're going to tell you what vision they want you to tell. That they want you to know.
Mm-hmm.
So if you, I don't want to wear a mask. I don't want to have this. Like I said, if we start thinking more about, just stop being selfish and start thinking about, other people and having respect for people, the mask wouldn't be that big of a thing. Because I'm pretty sure there's a lot of people that's walking around here that say systematic, and they don't even know because they haven't even been tested.
Right.
All right, that's the same thing. That mask, what you just said about the mask, go right along with your race. You know what I'm saying? You don't think about. My thing is, if we start being selfish and think about the next person, I think life will be a whole lot better. It's like what we was raised on, the old school ways. Excuse me, and stuff. You barely hear half of that stuff now. You barely hear half of that. I mean, if we disrespected the person that's next to us, I think it goes a long way. It goes a long way. I mean, you won't see as much people fighting and arguing and public places. It would just everybody just use common respect. You know what I'm saying? Not be selfish. I mean, what's crazy is It was a heater on the doorknob. What's hard if you're in your car, if you don't want to put it on, fine. But when you go into a public place, why not put it on for the however long you in there? When you get out, you can go right back and take it back off. Because I agree, you don't know who had it. You might have it. I agree. Right. You don't know when you're walking into these places who don't. But it amazes me when they showing these numbers that of people passing away, people getting sick, and you go outside. It amazes me on how many people are still walking around with no mask on, like in crowds of stuff, and you just walking around like. You got some people that saying, "Oh, I don't believe it. I don't." And even if that's the case, still, to me, I think if you open these places back up with a phase 1s and 2s and 3s and 4, forget about the phases. How about make it mandatory when you go into that place? If you don't have a mask on, you can't come in.
Yeah.
Period. You don't have a mask on. You're not allowed in here. To me, I don't see why they don't mandate that. What's crazy is they open these places up, the numbers shoot up. I mean, technically, we don't know if the numbers are right, but if it is, let's just say it is. If the numbers are going up, then why would you mandate that first off? You should mandate going into public places. You know what I'm saying? You should have a mask on. Me, where I work at, y'all making it mandatory for the employees to have a mask on. Why shouldn't it be the other way around? If you if you make it mandatory for me to take me to have my mask on, which I have no problem with that, then why is it to where I got to feel comfortable with somebody that's around me or in my face, not with a mask on? That doesn't make sense to me. I'm in this person's face. You got to think about it. Even if they talking to me like they say it's in the air or whatever the case may be, I'm still walking around to where now it's on me, it's on my clothes, all the above. We don't know how long it stays on you. Right. It gets on you. They saying a quick second, then they saying 15 minutes, then they saying they can stay in the air for so long. I mean, we get all kinds of different stuff about it. But my thing is, I agree, LJ, with a mask on, it does what? It shows respect, and then you respecting the person that's next to you. I got me a car today. I go get me a rental car today. I had a dude like literally next to me, in line. First time he did it, I didn't say nothing. As we moved up to the little circles on the floor, I get to the second circle. I turned around, he stood right there. I'm like, oh, I didn't know he was married. I'm like, dude. I said, dude, your spot way back there. Why you all over? Right. Oh, my bad. I wasn't paying attention. Dude, it says it coming to the door, but beyond that, this pandemic is not brand new. We've been doing this pandemic for I don't know how long, and you still up on me? You don't get away from me. His eyes all crazy looking at me like, dude, what you mean married? Dude, man, you don't get away from me.
Right. So how do y'all feel about going out to the restaurants, like to dine in?
I don't.
I had that experience on vacation.
I don't. I mean, I get how they say, you know, they because usually when you go in to go order whatever you order and you're getting to go leave, you have a table here, you have a empty table with this. I mean, to me, I don't get the concept. It's hard for me to say wear a mask, but then I'm in a public place sitting down with my face still exposed. Right. I'm lost at that because you got to think about it. Here's what's crazy: if I'm sitting here and then I got a skip table, and then LJ is sitting over the next table. Okay, what's stopping LJ from sneezing? What's stopping LJ from coughing? You know what I'm saying? Not to say that he hasn't, but before the pandemic went down, people sneezed and coughed all the time. Right. You know what I'm saying? In a public place, whether they did this or whatever the case may be. My thing is, you still sneezing, you still coughing, you still talking. When you talking, when you talk half the time, we don't mean to, but when we talking, sometimes spit come out your mouth, all kinds of stuff going on. Right. You know that? We don't know that. But my thing is, when you're in that public place eating, you never know. You never know. You can sit there, and then the part that's crazy is you still then have to narrow down. Well, then where do I get it from?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I had that experience. Texas, he had the experience on. I'm pretty sure he did while they were on vacation, man. So they had to eat. I had experience like that in the gas station. There was a guy in there, and he started coughing, and people were looking at him crazy. And he was coughing, and he was just steady picking up something off the counter, looking at it, reading, getting what he wanted, put one thing back. But my thing was, I looked at the people that was around, and none of them had on masks. I said, y'all got enough nerves to look at him crazy. None of y'all have a mask on.
Right. What's funny, here's what's even more funny. This is what B. Davis said. He can control that part of it. But most likely, people going to think, oh, man, he got something. But, you know what I'm saying? But you don't know. You don't know when you're going out.
The big thing is that not for the higher up, let's say for those people up there. The big thing about all of it now is that the economic impact that it's having. That's the biggest thing that they're looking at.
Say it again.
You know, the economic impact. That's it. That's what this is all about.
If the unemployment numbers wasn't bad, there would be no rush to get back to work.
There would be no rush to get back.
They're saying it all day about people. They telling you. They saying stop the testing because it makes me look bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, but one thing that I would like to see them start doing is that you're furloughing people. Some people you laid off, some people they didn't bring back, and they're not going to bring back, because what this is doing is giving big businesses a chance to restructure. Mm-hmm. That they want to restructure things, You're gonna see a lot of changes on jobs and things that's going on. But I want to see you furloughing these people and not letting people come back, certain workers and things come back. When we gonna cut some of those salaries of some of those big executives?
Yeah.
That's the next cut that should be coming. Now, if
Mm-hmm.
that
What is
comes to
it?
that point where that's going to happen, or we're going to see something
Oh,
then.
that's right. We're going to see a lot
We're
more.
going to see something then,
Oh,
because
yeah.
you see, they're going to get to the point where they've already restructured their workers,
Mm-hmm.
and they've put in policies and taken away policies that you might have had before they start. But once they get that structured in there, and this wave comes back through, and they have to talk about shutting down again, executives are in trouble
Oh yeah.
because
Because
they can't cut us anymore.
look at you got let's say your major sports. You got major sports that I'm not going to say they are rushed, but they want to get their employees, the athletes, back on the field. One thing, how this is what I want to ask: if you're rushing to put these players back on certain playing fields to play sports, where are you making your money from? You're not going to have any people in the stands. You're not going to have food vendors selling food. You're not going to have people in the parking lot parking and collecting money on that. So, if, for example, like a couple teams had to shut down their voluntary practices because their players were coming down with the illness. So if that gets shut down, what is the big football, basketball owners going to do then?
Guess what, J Matt? They can afford to close an arena and not have a fan in the arena, because that money that's coming on, that's just caviar money.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to see them squirm and everything, and the reason why they're trying to get back, it's that ad revenue.
Yeah.
It's those commercials and things. It's not the people that's in the stands. That's caviar.
Okay.
Concession and things like that goes to taxes and stuff. But it's that ad revenue.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to hurt them right now, because guess what? The prices of what they're charging has to go down.
Right.
And that's
Right.
the mentality.
That's the negotiations that you see between these stations, when they're saying we're not going to bring on Fox, or we're not going to bring this here on the cable thing. They want more money.
Mm-hmm.
What is that ad revenue? We look at LeBron James. LeBron James millions is not made from basketball.
Right.
We look at Michael Jordan. His millions wasn't made from basketball.
That's true.
You saw that on The Last Dance.
Yeah.
But that's what it's about, because you're a brand. And that's what I want to say. And as far as that, and as far as what we were talking about early, meeting head on with the racial thing and stuff like that, what I would tell people is that if you really want, you make an impact, we can protest and we could do anything. But you really want to make an impact, just start holding on to your dollars.
Exactly.
Be very careful where you spend your money at.
Yep.
But see, you can get on TV, sit down and say certain words and make it sound so eloquent, but you're still just running around and dodging around the question and not answering it. But one thing you'll never hear any person say on TV personality, sports announcer, or anything, ESPN, Shannon Sharp, all of them, one thing you will never hear them say
Mm-hmm.
is hold on to your dollars. Stop putting that money out there. Stop there with those sponsors. Start spending that money with them.
Yeah, that kills their money.
It's gonna kill them.
Mm-hmm.
Why you think what's her name? Joe what was her name? That was on ESPN. Her and the other guy had a show together. I can't remember. I think her name was
Michael and Mike.
what was her name?
Janelle.
Janelle biggest mistake was stop giving the money to the sponsors. When she said that, check out those sponsors. All the people that sponsor and all this here, don't spend your money with them. When she said that was it for her. That's a death sentence for anybody that's on television. You're gonna say things, but that's what you have to do. Pay attention to what they do. What do they do, athletes? Like I always told, I tell y'all that. I tell my godson. My godson makes big money in NFL, and I had to make him understand. Man, you're walking around here with your chest out and you're smiling and laughing, but understand that those people are cheering what you do. They're not cheering you.
You right.
You're
Understand what I'm saying? They're cheering what you do. They're not cheering you. Step out of line or say something that they don't like, you're going to understand. And what's the first thing that we do? The first thing that they do is they take those sponsorships from them. And
Right.
that's what we have to start doing with our money, is being more smart about it, choosing where we spend our money and things at.
Because I like the way you touch it right there.
And it's
Janelle.
like, is
Oh, go
anything,
ahead. Go ahead. No, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, is anything really like a necessity? Like all of these, this it's nice to have nice things and to do nice things, but is it a necessity? No.
No.
You could use your money for yourself, build your own.
Right.
And you know, you said something before I came onto the show, and I said, I know it's the reason why I love this young lady. When you said that you got your money and you still have it,
Oh yeah. That $1,200 didn't go nowhere.
that's
Mm-hmm.
you know, that speaks for itself.
Right.
That speaks for itself. And that's what we should be doing. But everybody have it. But it's like us. You know, it's I'm saying like, but it's what they think of us. You know, the money to us is like running water,
Yeah, we gonna spend it.
Right. We're gonna spend it.
and they know this.
Mm-hmm.
They
So
know this.
And you gotta think about like people like you just said. Okay, you think about Kaepernick. You think about Janelle. Uh, the way they were protesting things to change for the better. Not saying that Janelle is saying protest, but I'm saying she made the statement, don't go to those sponsors. So if you have people that are willing to speak out and then you shun them because they're raising their voice to better something else, you have to take into fact, okay, is it really time for us to help ourselves? You got a young man that took a stance a couple of years ago about what's going on in America or across the world right now, or let's just say here in our country with the police situation, and we're not getting respect. Now you shun this young man. Then now this comes about forward here in the last month or so, and now everybody wants to jump on a bandwagon and sing "Kumbaya."
Well,
And
that's
now
the way.
you can say, "Oh, maybe he was right. Maybe we looked at it the wrong way."
But it's always been that way, though. It's
Always
always
been that
been bad for whatever it is.
Hmm.
The
that's
fad,
right.
the fad when he came out, it was you got to think about it. He was representing what he was representing was right, but you got to think about it. You had people like Trump and other people that then turned around and twisted to use it a whole different way than what he was actually what he said he was out to do. You know what I'm saying? They made it look different. When you think about it, when most people in the media spoke about it, they always spoke about the what? The flag. It had nothing to do with the flag.
Nothing to do with the flag.
But when they spoke about it, they made it so horrific that hey, stay away from that. We don't need that, and we don't need that. What's going on and what he's trying to do. But they made it about the flag. Then when this happened, then it made well that's what he was saying. No, he was been saying that. He never faltered on saying he never. Every time he was questioned, every time somebody else talked to him about it, it was always the same thing.
You know?
And this really goes back to me being exhausted about educating people, right? It's that if you truly want to identify with me, look, friendship should have value and friendship should be reciprocal. So if I'm telling you something and you don't believe me, then you're not my friend. I don't care what color you are, right? You should have enough trust in that you believe me. So when I tell people that, hey, as an African American male, I have been wrongly prosecuted, there's a record. You can go and look at my arrest record, and then you can see that there's no convictions, right? And I'm talking about, I ain't talking about, oh, if you get convicted, you're gonna get 90 days. I'm talking about in the state of Louisiana habitual offender law where you get life in jail, right? That's what I'm talking about. My whole life at stake. I've been
Right.
wrongly prosecuted by police, right? I've been profiled, racially profiled, right? I've been, I have encountered racism. So if I'm telling you that, and just because you haven't seen that with your own eyes, if you don't believe me, then you're not my friend. And I had a conversation with one of my white friends about the flag, and he was like, "Man, I don't care." And it was, it was kind of doing the Drew Brees comment thing, and we kind of got into it. He was like, "Man, I don't care, but man, the flag means something. The flag means unity." So I was like, "Man, look, let me tell you. First of all, Cabernet, he said it himself. It wasn't about the flag. When it initially started, he was sitting. I'm gonna say it again. When he initially started his protest, he was sitting in the green beret A former Green Beret, I guess he was an NFL player, or ex-NFL player at the time. A former Green Beret had a talk with him and say, "Man, sitting down during the anthem, bro, it gives the appearance of that you are protesting the flag. It can
Yeah.
come off as offensive." He
Mhm.
said, "In the army, when we want to respect someone, we take a knee."
Mm.
That's how he started taking a knee.
Right.
A former
Yeah.
Green Beret told him to take a knee to prove that it wasn't disrespecting the flag.
Yeah. Setting is the most setting down is the most disrespectful thing you can do during the national anthem. The first thing they ask you is for everyone to please rise.
Right.
You know, but what I'm saying is that to prove that it wasn't about the flag, he took a knee.
Yeah, but you know, but you
It's been educating him on it, and people still. It goes back to what I said. People still is going to trying to put it in your mouth because America is not rated to face the conversation of race because nobody want. Oh man, don't put white guilt on me. You know, I never owned a slave. I never wrote a Jim Crow law. Man, I'm one generation removed from not drinking out of water fountain. One generation. My daddy had to go to the back door. That's still Jim Crow laws on the books in the state of Louisiana.
it's the system.
Yeah.
It's the system. Like I said, the system is not broke. It's working exactly the way that they want it to work.
It's written. It's working for the people they wrote it for.
Sure, sure.
When
Well-
you look back at it, we were what 3/4 of a man.
You know,
And I listened to a conversation LJ talked about the other night. And when they talk about disrespecting the flag, it's not about disrespecting the flag. You have all different races that fought in World War One, World War II, Vietnam, and coming forward. Conversation that we had the other night was, say for example, when you came back from World War One, World War II, there were states when you wore that uniform, you were disrespected because they didn't respect you wearing a uniform.
they had to take it off.
And you fought for this country that you live in, but you got certain areas that don't respect you and told you to take that uniform off. You weren't good enough to wear it, but I was good enough to die on that field.
Yeah, but you can't wear it. My great grandfather fought in a segregated unit, and when he came home, he couldn't wear his uniform.
Mm-hmm.
You know, my stepdad did two tours in Vietnam. The last time he went in, he was a POW for over a year.
Aw.
He came back and couldn't get a loan. He started his own business, but he couldn't get a loan.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and we you know, but so when you say that is your great grandfather fought in the war, and that's what you think about when you look at that flag. What am I to think about that?
Right.
Well,
You know, what do I mean to that? What am I supposed to think about that?
you know, look, there's facts and then there's perception. People perceive. Look, people don't realize that the Star Spangled Banner, the original Star Spangled Banner, talking about the hiring of slaves, talking about killing slaves. Look up the Star Spangled Banner. Look up the
But you know what?
Star Spangled Banner, because slaves defected to Canada to fight for freedom because they're promised freedom. So the Star Spangled Banner actually talk about killing Negroes.
But the sad part about that is they already know that.
The first person to die in the American Revolution was a multi-race man named Christopher Atu. He was the first person to die for this country. Freedom was black. That's perception and there's facts. Google it. It's in the history books.
That's another thing I was thinking
That's why I
about.
say I can't be the educator, bro. I can't be the educator, bro.
Yeah, what I was thinking about the other day is that we're in this age where a lot of things where everything is just so digital. You know, if you can get your hands on some books, I would suggest that you keep them.
You have to.
Mm-hmm.
You have to.
Because just relying on things, because I'm old enough to know some things that I ask Google, and I'll say, wait a minute, that's not the way I remember that. That's not the way, you know, I read about that.
Hey, perfect timing.
Perfect timing.
You
That's right.
have to do that. We're just so far with this digital, man. You know, hey, we see it with movies.
Mm-hmm.
We've seen movies that we've seen years ago that you can't even get now. We remember them, but there's no way that we can get them.
Right.
But I'm gonna say, if you can get some books, history books, and get books and things like that, keep them.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
real, you're right. His story. I mean, GoPro, you're right. His story. Um, that,
Yeah.
that I'm gonna tell you it again. It goes back to being involved in the political system because school boards, school board systems decide what curriculum, and on the federal level to a certain extent, but federal law dictates that state have the right to educate their population, right? Um, but school board systems decide what curriculum they're going to use. Now, to get federal money, there are some things you have to include that the federal government mandate for curriculum or whatever. But the very books that comes into your kid's class, that happens on the school board level.
Yeah.
The curriculum they pick, that happen, and that's multiple versions of his story, but somewhere in those versions is the truth. You
Right.
know,
And
Right.
the school system is what they're gonna make of it. I never did understand why they took trade out of school.
huh.
Mm-hmm.
They took the trade out of school to start big businesses. There was times where that you had welding classes and things in school. You had bricklaying and things like that in school, but they took that out and they made their own businesses. And you graduate from high school or whatever, and they charge you thousands of dollars to come to their class and teach you how to weld.
Mm-hmm.
I'm old enough to remember when they had trade in school.
Oh yeah, man. I remember when I got out of high school, man. Right out of high school, no college education. That is before I even went to college, man. I was in high school 2 hours a day. I took welding.
Mhm.
Welding. When I was in high school, I had a job working at a local plant, right?
Mm-hmm.
When I got out of high school, man, I was making $1,200 every 2 weeks, right out of high school, and this back in the days,
Right.
you know, right out of high school, man. You would make $60,000, $50,000, $30,000 right out of high school.
Mm-hmm.
MJ Max said, but the books most times don't tell all the stories. Maybe some of the books that they have now,
I mean,
Yeah.
but
the
that
books
is
are
true
out
too.
there,
But the books are
It's
out
out there. You just gotta be able to find it.
there. Yeah.
and you got to be willing to push your local school board to put that in the curriculum.
Right. Right.
Like growing up, I thought Christopher Columbus was the best thing. Thanksgiving, he founded America until I met a Native American and learned about the Trail of Tears, and
Right.
learning how the U.S. government literally took people land, execute them, and then say, "Hey, y'all move on this small plot of land."
Mm-hmm.
And then while they was moving, how they died from starvation, disease, and weather. So I mean, bruh.
Yeah, Monique. I remember when they had Black History. I remember when they took it out too.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
but that's the time when our thing is that we got to stay woke. We
Right.
can't let our guard down. Like we say, don't fall for the banana in the tailpipe.
Mm-hmm.
You just have to keep pushing because it's not gonna be easy. It's not gonna be overnight. Because you're asking those people to give up a privilege that they've had all their life in no other way. They have to give up some of that, and a lot of them are not willing to do that.
Right. Right.
And this thing
And
too, like,
let me ask Joy real quick. 'Cause I don't want her to get sleepy on the show.
No, I'm good.
Okay. So let me ask you this, and I'm going to give this question to everybody. Like, say for example, Joy, with your followers that follow you on your show that you do every day. How did you, or how would you, say for example, you didn't spend your stimulus money?
Mhm.
How would you explain to them how to save it and put it to good use at a time that they really need it? And with everything going on, is it a good time to, hey, support yourself, do something that's good for yourself as business wise or however, like LJ was saying earlier, spend your money, choose wisely where to spend your money. Has that subject come up with your channel?
Not really, but I mean, yesterday we were talking about financial freedom, like the
Yeah.
word is financial freedom a myth or is it reality?
Mhm.
And I would suggest that people reinvest. whatever money they have, because technically I look at any lump sum of money that I didn't earn as a bonus.
Mhm.
And I'll use that bonus and put it aside like I never had it.
Right.
So I'll either purchase some precious metals, or I'll just put it in the bank. Or if I don't want to put it in the bank, then I'll just leave it on the side. And then one day, if I have a rainy day, I'll be like, oh my goodness, I can't believe I have this little bit of money and I can use that for whatever emergency I need. So I always look at that as like a cushion. I feel like we need to learn that it's okay to have a cushion. Learn that it's okay not to have the latest trends. If it's working, why do you have to replace it?
Right.
If it's broken, then replace it. But I don't watch TV, so I'm no longer like wowed by like, oh, I need to get the latest cell phone. I don't even know what the latest cell phone is. I mean, I know that may sound ignorant, but I don't even bother myself with that kind of programming anymore.
Mhm.
So that money, I utilize it as my power. That's my power. That at least I have that power to negotiate with somebody. Like now, people will see that I have some type of wealth. So now I'm someone that they can negotiate with. So.
Right.
If you don't have some type of negotiating power, they're not going to look at you as anything, in my opinion. So
Mhm.
I'd rather have a little bit of negotiation so that I can go a little further. Eventually, the dollar that we see now will burn just as quickly as it was made. So what do you have then? They're going to either utilize your brain or whatever spending power you have, whether precious metals or stocks or whatever. Or property or real estate.
Right.
So whatever it is, that's how you diversify your portfolio. So
There
get
you
into it. You're never too young or too old or have a little bit of money or not enough money to get into something. Somebody can always show you. I like to hang around people who are way smarter than me so that I can learn how to get into stuff that I may not have known. So I would look at it that way too. But don't tell people what you have,
Right. Hmm. I see GoPro statement in there. I ain't even gonna put you up, GoPro. I almost did it. Like, nah.
I mean, it's a fight, but it's something that you have to condition your mind to. Is that is it a need or is it a want? And you just have to be disciplined with it, and understand it's not going to be overnight. But man, when it does hit you and you're on the right track, it's a good feeling. It's a real good feeling.
Right. And I see there's a couple of comments I want to put up, but I want to ask this question first because I think a while back, I think it was Tech. I think LJ was there. I think Bo was there. A couple of us was there, talking about can we start our that's how you say it. Can we start our own businesses with our own round table? And I don't know if Tech remember that. And the conversation went, well, you need to bring such and such to the round table. And my question is, or my statement is, if we can do stuff for ourselves, why do we need to bring everybody to the round table? Is it more or less that, okay, they have resources that we may need, or can we get those same resources without bringing everybody that doesn't need to be there? Meaning, can we start stuff for ourselves and build it up? Do we need everybody at the round table, or can we do it ourselves?
We can start at the round table ourselves. We can build a table.
Okay.
But once we get our table and everything established and we're on our way, we will have to interact.
Right. No, I
But
don't
I
problem.
don't have to,
Mm-hmm.
I don't have to bring it to my table.
Okay. How about you, Bo?
It's the same thing for me. I mean, you got to look at it. I agree totally with what LJ said, but at some point, yeah, you gotta interact with other people. I think when we get that mindset that you don't need help from other races or other people, I think that's what actually screws it up for people. You know what I'm saying? Because you got to think about it. When you have that mentality of, well, they do it for themselves. There's nothing wrong, because you got to think about it. Here's one thing I've heard from most of y'all. And Joy said it just now. I put myself around people that's going to teach me something.
Say it again.
I put myself around people that's going to teach me something. And she never said a specific race. She just said, to be around somebody that's going to teach me something, which meaning it's going to help me grow as a person. So my thing is that's what's wrong. When you shelter yourself from other people, that's where the issue comes in at. Like when you say, well, only these other people can teach me something, that's not true. But you putting yourself in such a place to where that's where the racism come in at. You know what I'm saying? You gotta be able, there's nothing wrong with building with this person, this person, this person. There's nothing wrong with that. But you can't do it in such a sense of that you feel like can't nobody else come in. Because like LJ said, you still got to be able to interact because you don't know what somebody else knows.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So if you don't know what somebody else knows, then that's where it comes at for me. I mean, we have to get to the point where, like I said, everybody want to say get black home, get this and that. Yeah, that's a help for me. Trust me, it's a big, huge help. It's a help because we haven't really done it, and I don't know how long. You know what I'm saying? We haven't done it, but you got to think about it. As much as these other people doing, other races are doing what they're doing, they can't grow without what? Without other races buying from them.
That's right.
If they don't buy from them, then they got to depend on their own. But that's not what they're looking at. They're looking at other races to help with whatever product or whatever else they bring to the table. I mean, it's just the outlook for me. I mean, when it comes to it, racism and this and that, it's an iffy thing for me. And the only reason why it's iffy for me because I don't really see color in people.
Right.
Do I love my black people? Love them to death. But me, I try to look at everything not as a race. I try to look at stuff as what's going to be beneficial for me, how I'm going to grow, you know, what knowledge can I get. I mean, I'll be above as far as me trying to get to that next level. When LJ speak, trust me, half the time I shut my mouth, especially when it comes to business partners, because I'm knowing he going to give me something I can use. Right. Because he'd have been through it, and then he knows it. So it's time for me to hush up, like when he talks. If you notice, when he's talking about business, I don't never cut him off or hey. No, I'm trying to grab like a sponge to get whatever I can, because once he's giving that information out, you don't know when he's going to share it again. You know what I'm saying? So if he's giving you nuggets, then you got to be able to take them nuggets, especially when he's giving them to you.
It's what Joy said. I'm sorry, Jim. Say this right quick. It's what Joy said earlier. And man, I'm really impressed. I mean, I look at your shows and everything, but she said, and you saying about being at the table, that's your leverage. Like when she said about having and building that leverage, you know, that's what we have to do. But we can't be crabs in a barrel. We got to be willing to sacrifice, you know, and we have to be willing to trust each other. Right. As far as color, I see color. But I don't judge people by their color or anything. I judge them, you know, by the person that I meet. I try my best to surround myself with positive people.
Right.
You know, and I've made mistakes before. But when I see that they're not what I thought they were, whatever, you know, I quickly move away. But I like to know that you're not that person, you know, that I let in my inner circle. Right. Because once you let me know, I know how to deal with you.
That part.
You know, it's the one that sits there that just, you know, it's, hey man, it's a lot of prayers, a lot of hard work. It's a lot of sitting back and really listening and paying attention. And one thing and boy, y'all hear me say this all the time. And I think this is the time when people really should take this to heart and always remember this here. When you're looking at the things that's going on in the world right now, is remember what James Baldwin said. I can't believe what you say because I see what you do.
That part. When LJ said that to me, it speaks volumes to me. And the reason why I say it like that, y'all, is because in our own streaming community, that's why I make decisions on decisions that I make. When I say about certain things in the streaming community, that's why I say that. Because my thing is, anybody on DST that we as strong as we is, I have no problem with nothing that they do because of the respect and everything that we does. But when somebody else that's either I deal with from afar, my thing is I don't know you. I'm gonna say it again. I do not know you. But when you show me your hand from afar without me not knowing you,
Yeah, yeah.
I'm
Now,
good.
now, let me ask. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna hit Tech real quick because I see him chomping at the beard and he rubbing his head. So I know he
No,
got
no,
something.
man. Yeah, go
I'm
ahead.
gonna rub some of them waves out.
But wait, and I didn't say that to pick on Tech or anything like that. That particular conversation that we had a while back, that was a good conversation
That was me
because
and LJ screaming at each other. But go ahead.
because but think about it like this. Only thing I'm saying is this. Yeah, can we start our own table? And yes, it's good to have people from the outside so we can learn knowledge and bring in resources. But if you really think about it, my only question and statement was, can we start it ourselves and then branch out? And I remember that conversation with Tech because yeah, it got a little testy,
Okay,
but it
LJ,
was a
go
good
ahead.
You got to understand too. For anybody that don't know, y'all have learned. Me and Tech is from Louisiana, and when we talk, in fact, me and Tech was going back and forth, and I had to text him, and at the same time, he was sending me the message. He said, "Man, you think they think we're really fighting about this?" I'm like, "I
I
don't
was
know."
doing the DST at the time. You know, we passionate, bro. Like we yell for the top of our lungs, and you know, it'd be like they gonna fight. Like, nah, it just what it is. You know.
Yeah, that's just the way we are. That's the way we are. I came up. My grandfather told me something. He raised me. My mom had me when she was very, very young. She was 16. My grandparents raised me. And I remember my grandfather telling me, he says, when I let you go, you're going to be a man. I didn't understand it then, but I look back and I realized my work ethic that I had to get to the point that I'm at in life right now. I look at what my grandfather did. You know, my grandfather was a man that built his table. He
Mhm.
sat at his table. Him and some other friends, they started. My grandfather had three businesses, three business that he ran. And we're talking about in the 60s. He had three businesses that he ran, that he started from scratch, and he taught me things, discipline and stuff like that. I fought it a lot, but then as I got older, I realized that I was my grandfather, but it was in a good way because he taught me about money. He taught me about investing. He taught me about what it was and to sit back and sit and say, hey, is this a need or is this a want? Do I always follow all that? No, I'd be lying because we all have done it.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't care what it is. We've all bought something. And then
Mhm.
we got home and we'll look at it and say, I don't know why I bought this. I really don't need this. And I'm here to say that right now. I got a 75-inch TV that's sitting ain't never been out the box in almost a year.
Oh no.
So, but man, all I can say, just don't give up.
Yeah.
And there's just so many people there's so many that live paycheck to paycheck, and some people don't realize that until something like this here really hits. Other people know. Just don't throw your money away, man. It's hard. It's hard, and I've had people say, "Well, LJ, well, you got this, you got that there," but not many people sit down and ask my wife and I, how did we get to the point to where we at?
How much hard work you had to put
Yeah,
into it?
and people got to understand. People say, "Oh man, I'm trying to make $1 million." Man, let me tell you something. If you think making $1 million is hard,
Try
try
keep.
keeping it.
Try to
Just
keep
try
it.
keeping it.
Try to keep it.
There's so many things that will take it from you. $1 million is not what you think it is,
Mhm.
but it's the knowledge and the things that you build and togetherness that we can make a change.
Right.
That's why they try so hard to just divide us. But we have to hang in there. Like I said, is it going to happen? It's going to happen. But understand that we're asking people that have been having that advantage and all their life, and that's all they know. And a lot of them don't even realize just how privileged they are,
Right.
and they're not going to give it up easy.
So
Mhm.
that's a principle that we use in organizing. Several principles. One of the principles is that power is not given; it's taken.
Say,
Right. And when people hear power is not given, it's taken, they're like, well, you sound like you want to do some violence. No, it's not.
mhm,
Um, Power can be taken or it can be shared. That's principles that we live by when we organizing. Um, I got into a debate, and the reason why I was, rubbing my hair and my beard and all that, because a lot of things you guys were saying, some of the financial things on my live show, I talked about that. I talked about once you realize that the dollar have no value because the U.S. owes trillions and trillions of dollars, right? 6 trillion or whatever, and they still print out the dollar. So once you realize the dollar have no value, right, and then you see the advantage of having good credit, then you can become your own bank. It's called.
Say that again. I'm gonna
It's
do a
called
both. Say that again.
it's called once you realize the dollar don't have a value and you have good credit, you can take out a home equity line of credit if your mortgage do that, or you can use an insurance policy. You can borrow against that, or you can use a credit card and you can have what you call a payment history and get a larger larger line of credit through that credit card. So, for example, something you pay annually. If you pay your car insurance annually, all right, I'm paying monthly payments on that. Well, there's interest that's included on that. If I want to buy a car, that's interest including on that. If I had a line of credit, right, I just take that and I pay for it, and that would save me interest. So
Right.
I was gonna spend that money anyway, right?
Mm-hmm.
Just go ahead and I pay myself. So I put that money back into the line of credit before that credit start getting interest, right? And then because I paid cash, I paid it out, I saved myself that interest. So let's say if it's my car insurance, I just saved $300.
Yeah.
And then I pay myself those monthly payments. And at the end of the year, I'm $300 richer. I do that with my homeowners insurance. At the end of the year, I'm my own bank. Anything I want, I just build my credit up, make payments, make payments, keep getting in line of credit, using good debt, right? Using good debt to stay away from bad debt.
Right.
And guess who does that the most?
Rich people.
All the wealthy people. Not rich people, the wealthy people.
Well, yeah, right. It's a difference
All
between
the wealthy.
it's a difference between rich and wealthy. LJ does that a lot.
A lot
LJ,
of
LJ. I'm about to say J Mac. LJ does that a lot.
the wealthy people, they're not like I don't know if people, in my personal opinion again, but I feel like the wealthy people, they don't really care about money. They care about acquiring things.
Right.
Like they care about acquiring commodities like human beings.
Yeah.
Being able to get a human being to do
Asset. What is the asset to me?
Yeah.
You're right, Joe.
But Joy, like you hit the nail on the head, because that's the exact thing I said on the live show, is that, man, if you want to invest in property or precious metals. I said it on the live show, and that's the beauty of YouTube. You go back and watch it. I said that. That's the thing. Whenever the stock market start going down, or the economy or the dollar start losing value, wealthy people, they start buying up property and they start investing into precious metals.
Mm-hmm.
It goes back to the bartering. Shiny things always going to sell.
Oh, yeah.
Bo asked me what 3-4 months ago on his show when this was all starting, and he says, LJ, what are you doing? What are you up to? I said, buying things, stocks, certain things I'm buying, and that's what I was doing. But you got to understand that there's a lot of millionaires, but they're millionaires on paper.
Yeah, that's it. Say it again.
You got to understand that. We got to get that right. Like what George just said, there's wealth, and you got the rich. There's a lot of rich people that's millionaires. You want to say millionaires, but they're only rich on paper.
And look at how many of the wealthy people, like everybody's forgetting about our super wealthy. Like they're chilling.
Yeah, they
chilling
even work.
right now and piggybacking off of us still.
I was today. I had a conversation with my godson, and they got an investment, some things that they're doing, land and stuff in California. And we were talking about wealthy, and he was showing me 2 homes, and one home was 150 million, and the other one was 120 million. And the land that they got is right between those 2 homes. And the one that was 150 million is the guy that owns Goodyear, and the other one was the guy that owns the Hyatts. And he was saying they were able to get the land and what they're going to build on and what they're going to sell a house for. I'm saying, hey man, I'm so glad to see that you investing your money in something and not just spending millions out on buying fancy cars.
Mm-hmm.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing. wealthy people, before they purchase something, it's already paid for with someone else's money.
Exactly.
I don't know if I said it too fast or not. Wealthy
Yeah.
people, before they purchase something, it's already paid for with the bank money. Where do the bank
Exactly.
get
That's
money
what
from?
you said.
The bank get money from people who live paycheck to paycheck. You
Right.
money, you bank with them. They use your money to lend out money to wealthy people.
And
Right.
they never pay back.
Yeah,
They
and
never pay back.
that's why that velocity banking kind of caught me, because I control it. I never have to pay interest on this money as long as I pay it back in time. And
Mhm.
and you can do it with a life insurance policy. You can do it with a line of home equity credit. You can do it with multiple credit cards. That and here's the thing. This is how wealthy people talk. I told you guys January 1st when I did my live, I say, look, this year I'm going to research more. I want to be more financially literate, right? And that's what I've been doing. And I shared what I learned so far with the audience today in my live show. When they talk, it blew my mind how these people talk, bro. They don't talk about money. They talk about financial. Listen to this word: tools.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
TOOLS.
TOOLS.
Yeah,
Tools,
too.
like a hammer and nail. Like there's certain tools. That's literally things that they use as tools to move money around. That whether it be annuities, whether it be velocity banking, whether it be bonds, whether it be precious metals, they call those different things, and there's hundreds of different financial tools you can use to where you never have to come out of pocket.
Right. Right.
Anything you bringing in is extra. The hard thing is how do you hide the money you bringing in so you don't get taxed 60-70% on it.
Put it in your kid's, your minor's name. Boom.
It's a tool. It's certain tools they use. Man, this stuff that I've been researching blew my mind. And here's the thing. This touching on the racism thing, right quick. Here's the thing: is that I have a lot of people, a lot of obviously by the nature of the work that I do, there's a lot of people who don't look like me when I go into the room. They
Mhm.
don't consider themselves racist, right? So let's say Jim owns a farm and he's about to retire, but his kids don't want the farm. So he get a son-in-law to manage the farm. Why? Because Jim, he know he got millions of dollars invested in his farm, and he know his son-in-law. He trusts his son-in-law. Who do his son-in-law look like? Look like him,
Mhm.
right?
Right.
So they don't consider themselves racist. They're like, man, look, I'm passing this on to somebody I know, or whether it be a friend, a son-in-law, whatever. Good old boy system. They just look at it. I'm just investing into people I know and I trust. Here's the problem with that. The system, when we talk about systematic racism, the problem is that the system from slavery to Jim Crow laws have taught people, white people, to fear black people. So therefore, you have less and less relationships with black people over time, right? So you don't have that black friend you trust because of slavery, Jim Crow laws, because you never had the opportunity to get close to African Americans. So now the system, year after year, generation after generation, it keeps us out of reaching wealth because no one trusts us, because people not enough people are not cultivating those relationships because racism, systematic racism, has kept us apart. You might not be a racist, but the only reason why you friends with him is because he looked like you.
Right.
Now, is there exceptions to the rules? Yes, there are exceptions to the rule. I'd be the first to admit the reason why I am where I am in life is because of Caucasian. Not only because of Caucasians, but part of my success is based on Caucasian because there's certain things I needed to put me over the top that it wasn't people who look like me in those positions. I'm gonna be honest. And so
You had
when
to deal with them because
we
there
had
were
the
some
argument
people like
about building our table or getting a seat at the table, I said you got to get a seat at the table because most of the time the people who have power don't look like us. So you got to get living off that principle. You got to get to the position to where you're taking that power from them, or you sharing that power with them. The LJ argument was that yes, you can build a table. You know, it just depends. It just depends how you look at it. Can you build a table then branch out, or do you want to sit at the table that have the power currently? You want a voice. And I look, protesting, I'm gonna say this, and a lot of people will get mad at me. Protesting is cool. That's a cool thing to do. Get your anger out there. Get your voice heard. I had an argument with one of my closest friends in the world. We argued, and I told him, he was like, "Yeah, I marched with Ben Crump. You know, Ben Crump, the black attorney that as of late been in the news with Arbery and George Floyd and stuff like that. He was the lawyer of Trayvon Martin lawyer and all of that. I marched with Ben Crump. I'm doing my part. I got this nonprofit in Houston. I said, bro, I do the hard work. Let me tell you something about protesting. Protesting is a tool. It's good to bring attention to the issue. The hard work is when you're working on policies and changing laws 3 years after the initial protest. That was a bill that I helped write. It mimicked the bill from Alabama. It's called the Louisiana Clarity Act. Me and one of my colleagues, we helped take that bill and rewrite it, and we give it to a politician so he can pre-file it. It took us 7 years to get to that point. The people that showed up to the initial meeting that was moaning and complaining about homeowners insurance, by the time Governor Bobby Jindal at the time that signed the bill into law, by the time he signed that bill into law, I still got the pen in my cabinet, in my hutch. I still got the pen that he used, one of the pens he used to sign the bill. A lot of the people that started off at the first meeting wasn't there 7 years after. That's the hard work I'm talking about, changing society. Are you willing to do like me and show up to meetings when they only got 3 people? And knowing that you got to do this all over again the next month. See, people say they're about change, but they're not about change. I don't want to get on my soapbox, but that's the truth, man. Look, you got to have the ability to change the minds of the lawmakers. And don't think you will go up there with a sad story. I did it. And have people up there crying and all of that. Man, they ain't trying to hear that. So you gotta prove to them how this is going to help them. You got to become skillful at debating. You got to research. It's something that's called power mapping. Power mapping people, research that to where you look out into the district and see who's voting. You literally can go down to your local voter registration or visit clerk of court, however. They keep records in your municipality, your county, or in Louisiana, we have parishes. We can go down to the voter registration place and I can get a printout of all the people who voted in that individual district. And it breaks it down by race. Come on now.
So you touch on the.
That's where the work come in at. That's how you
touch on that real good. Now, this is the other point that I'm piggyback off of you on. When you say marching is good and you can take it to the levels to change laws. Now, let's take 4 cities. It don't even matter what 4 cities. And you see these same 4 cities in the news every night. Now, why not, if at all possible, you see all these people in the 4 cities marching? Are all these people in the 4 cities willing to stand up and fight, just like you said, in a peaceful manner, and then also turn around and go to the voting booth? Even we know how the voting works. Take all those people and put them in the voting booth, and let's see what happens. If you really want change, you have the definite ways that Tech is talking about. Now put those people in the voting booth. Is that going to help? You have to try.
Well,
there's going to come a time when people are going to stop. There's going to come a time when people aren't marching no more.
Yeah, that's ultimately the goal is to put someone in office. But here's the thing that gets me. All right, when you look at Minnesota, right? What his name was, Castile, right? He was the guy that was shot in Minnesota. He was licensed to carry. It was live. It happened live, and the officer said he feared for his life. The guy was reaching for his credential, and he shot him. That happened in Minnesota. Why do we revisit this again? Well, there was people working on the ground. So when we revisit this, and there's protesting and uprising, right? Protesting and uprising, they actually had something to present to the lawmakers. They actually had well thought out demands that people, when the time Castile got shot, people holding meetings and people getting the politician ears, right, try to move them to pass these laws. So when another tragedy happened, they had something to present and say, we want this passed. That's the thing that happened. We protest, but we don't have anything structured. We don't know how to channel that energy, right? And that's the hard work, man, challenging that energy and then realizing how, like, I know who's for me. I'm going to say it again. Go back to power mapping. When I power map, I know the politician that share my self-interest. I know who for me. I'm not worried about that. I'm three votes short. That's how I look at it. The work that I do. I'm 3 votes short of getting this law passed that can literally change people's lives. So I'm going to compromise, but what am I willing to compromise on? Because I need those 3 other votes. So who are they beholden to? So I'm not trying to convince that politician. I'm trying to convince who's donating to his or her campaign.
Right.
See, that's the thing, man. That's what lobbyists do. That's what they spend all the money. They spend all the money whining and dining people, educating them, and forming relationships. We got to do the same thing, but we got to be smarter, man. This is chess. It's not checkers.
I was just about to bring that up.
There you go.
Y'all ever want to learn how to start understanding life? First thing you need to do is learn how to play this game.
Yes, ma'am.
I was just about to say that. Once you know how to play that game, I'm sorry, it's not even a game. Once you know how to learn how to understand how those moves are made, your mind starts to think a little differently.
Because a pawn can what? A pawn can take a king.
A pawn can do damage.
A pawn can do a lot of damage.
So what did the river do?
Huh?
So what did the river do?
I was gonna also say that we have to also remember that everybody's a compartment. Some people water, other people harvest, and then there's the people that sow.
Yeah.
So like the people that are on the ground protesting, maybe that's their best function. And then the people who just need that little encouragement to be like, look, you may not be fit for a protester, but if you come with me, I'm sure you're going to shine brightly. And then you're not by yourself in that meeting. You're going to have maybe 5, 6, 7 people strong that's going to stay for 7 years or more, or supersede you.
Right.
So like we got to remember, we got to see people for where they are. And
meet them where they at. We say meet them where they at. So
exactly.
Less than 30 seconds. Here you go. This is taking a bathroom, trying to persuade somebody. All right. So before I go visit, for example, I want a stop sign change in the local community, right? All right. So before I go visit LJ, I already know that's one of his issues. Before I go visit LJ, I already know one of his issues. So in the line of work that I do is called credentialing. Credentialing is who you are. I go talk to LJ, be like, pick up the phone. Hello, LJ. My name is Donna Bogan. Bo knows that you had a problem with the stop sign in the community. I'm working with an organization that's working on getting that stop sign put up in the community, or getting the stop sign taken out in the community, whatever the issue is. I wonder if you had a few moments to spend with me, talk to me, and teach me more about this issue. LJ, grant me at least 30 minutes to come to his home or meet me in the comfortable spot, whether it's coffee shop, wherever he feel comfortable. I go to LJ and we talk about the coffee shop. He giving me all of the knowledge in the neighborhood. I'm already working on this issue. When I leave his home, I'm gonna say, does anyone else you know that's concerned about this issue? That's a refer. I'm going to credential myself the same way I credential myself with Bo. And I'm going to invite him to the meeting. When he comes to that meeting, he know that meeting is about the stop sign. That's how you weave those broken relationships in the community. So everyone in that meeting is about the stop sign. Here's the thing with the protesters is that you're right. Everybody's job is not to do the hard work that a lot of people is doing, but all of us got to remember that we need each other. I tell people I need the numbers out there in those streets. The people in the streets need to know that they need me on to the Capitol talking to the politicians in back rooms. I'm willing to spend 8 hours at the Capitol walking around in different meetings and talking to my mouth go dry. I'm willing to do that if you're willing to show up to the meeting when I get the politician out.
All right.
That's how it works, man. This chess.
Right, but MJ Max, yeah, we all can vote, but that's just it. Getting people out to vote. What's up, real deal?
That thing what MJ said is the number one thing.
Sure,
I have no problem with protests. Get out there and protest. Make your voice heard. But if you're that strongly with protesters, I want you to vote.
Yeah.
Well, I do vote. Make sure you put the right person in, and then make sure you hold them accountable. Because a lot of people come in,
they have to vote,
meaning to do well, but they get corrupted by the system.
And if you look into that too much and you decide that you don't like either one of them, so I'm not gonna vote, then guess what? You don't even need to be there.
Right. I'm gonna add one caveat, and I want Real to jump in because I know she's smiling. I know what she's doing. But my one point I was gonna make about voting: when you vote for the person that you want, and you also voting for the law that you're trying to pass, be sure that when you look at, say that particular law, we want this stop sign down, or we want this stop sign changed. Read the rest of what you're voting about, because I promise you, just because you're voting to get that stop sign done, whatever, there's also some other caveats in there that you're voting for. A lot of people don't pay attention to that. So you got to make sure, is that what you're voting for, and not all this extra stuff that they're putting in there? You got to read and pay attention to it. Whatever, real.
That's right, MJ. You're right.
Hey, I promise you, I wouldn't have came on here. Because when I thought the show was gone, because it just appeared off my thing.
Oh.
You couldn't hear people talking?
I promise you.
You couldn't hear people talking?
No, like it disappeared off of my YouTube because I was watching y'all on my tablet, right?
Uh-huh.
And I was like, well, damn, the show kind of ended crazy. And it just, because it went blank.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, okay, they ended. So I was like, well, where y'all at? Where y'all at? Where y'all at? So I was like, well, I'm going to go over here. They over here talking to everybody. But I didn't know you were live. I see that.
Yep, we got you now.
Hey, real. You better make sure J Mac didn't block you.
Hey, he might have.
You're crazy.
Yeah.
He ain't brought the stream yard, though.
See, Mike sent the tail like Diaz was last night.
And then I'm on my tablet too. I wouldn't have came on here. But hey, how y'all doing?
Yes, it.
I've been hearing the
That's what makes
conversation.
change.
And yeah.
J Mac wanted to get.
Thank you for coming.
He didn't even tell me what we was talking about. I'm like, J Mac, what time we coming on? He like 6 o'clock. Make sure you there. I'm like,
Oh, man, Real and I got something scheduled tomorrow, so bring your pen and paper because I said something here, but I had to hold back some. I got to save something for tomorrow.
You got to save it.
All I can tell you is bring your pen and paper tomorrow.
What time?
Real, what we gonna do? What you thinking?
7:30 Central.
7:30 Central. Okay.
So that's about what, 9:30
Where you at?
Eastern.
Yes.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
8:30. 8:30.
in that
It'll
big
be 8:30 where you at. It'll be 8:30.
All right.
Yeah. Now I know it's, what time is it? Okay, it's a 11:15 here. So before we get off here, I just want to thank everybody who came in the chat. Those who are listening, thank you for listening. I want to go through and thank everybody here on the chat. And I'm going to start with Ms. Joy. Ms. Joy?
Thank you guys for having me. Hustler TV, Bonos,
Hey, you.
the bathroom, LJ, The Real. Thank you guys. It was fun. I really enjoyed myself. There's so much more dialogue that can be done.
Yeah.
This is not an issue. Like these topics and issues, whatever you want to call them, these are all human related things that we have to redo. Like we have to redo the things that we've historically been recycling over and over again. And now, because it's 2020, we have the opportunity to redo things, not recycle, but redo them and structure them in a way that it'll be useful for everybody. One thing we need to do is take certain vocabulary words that we've become known to use out of our dialect.
Whoa.
LJ be preaching.
We had to take some of the words that we've been using out of our dialect. Like
okay.
racism is one thing, because we, at the end of the day, it's one of the quotes that I have. When you cut this skin on anybody, we all bleed red. So
Yeah, she got the knowledge tonight, right?
there is no difference. Just because I tan a little bit darker or you haven't been in the sun as long, we shouldn't have that cause us to be divided. Like that's elementary, I believe. It's elementary. We can all get along. Our personalities all together, we need to kind of understand each other's personalities, each other's perspectives, and know that it's okay that we don't have to agree on every single thing. Sometimes we can yell, argue, but at the end of the day, we have to be mature enough to say, okay, I apologize if I offended you. But it takes a lot of the ego, taking that ego out of ourselves to do that. These are the things that we have, I believe these are the things that we have to start implementing in our personal lives. And it takes getting to know yourself, being able to be okay with yourself first. And then if you're okay with yourself first, then you'll be able to respect someone else.
Uh-oh,
I'm
say
not
it.
going to say that long. I'm not going to keep talking. I'm not going to keep talking, but I appreciate you guys. I appreciate you guys. I'm so glad that we all ended up crossing paths. It's refreshing to have mature conversation about things, and for us to be like, "Oh, I can learn something from you," or "I just learned something," or "Wow, I never thought about it in that way." I'm thankful that somebody's there trying to lobby for us, and to also be thankful for those things. We got to be more thankful to towards each other's efforts, and not to allow people to be like, "Well, dang, if they don't care, I don't have any more fight in us, in me." So like we have to be able to lift each other up at some point in time and know that whether your efforts are done, it's not in vain. Nothing that we do is in vain, but we gotta start doing things over and rewriting history, right? All of this stuff has been in the past. We're taking down statues. Somebody mentioned that earlier. We're taking down statues. So now we need to put and implement other things. Maybe not a statue, but maybe humanity. And then just really, I believe, putting more pressure on people who are really controlling everything. The ones that are chilling out right now, they're chilling out. They like this with their cup of tea. They're about to go on vacation again all over the world because now their staff can come back to work, and they don't no longer have to put toilet paper on the spindle anymore.
I'm gonna speak on
that. So like we need to start holding them more accountable and realizing that we have the power. We're greater than the very few that are the wealthy or the people who are in control. And if we are more together, then we can make a bigger stomp and a bigger noise. But my name is Joy from Be the Difference Clothing, and I appreciate you guys.
Miss Joy, Miss Joy, Miss Joy. Miss Joy, me and Bo gonna have you back. We got to have you back.
Jim Mac, I know what color I am.
Tech, my brother Tech. I know you need to chime in before we get out of here.
Man, this show is just awesome, man. I mean, like, there's so many things that I have learned, and there's a lot. By nature, the nature of my job, I'm a teacher, right? And I don't know if you guys see it, but I get so excited, I get so passionate about these issues. That's systemic racism is there, right? Systematically, we've been locked out of a lot of things, but we have to challenge the powers that be. I want to say two things. First, let's touch on what Ms. Joy was saying. There's two things that we use as a principle, what we call organized money, and it's organized people. That's the only two things that's competing when it comes down to making laws. Organized money, organized people. The organized people can get politicians voted in or out. Organized money, they have money to give to the campaigns for the politicians to put ads up to persuade other people to vote for them. That's it in a nutshell. You only have organized people, organized money. What organized money tries to do, they try to divide organized people. If you're willing to stick together, you can bring about change. The next thing, as a black man in the South, I don't know everyone belief on the panel, but I grew up around guns. It's just how it's brought up. The southern life is probably different than a lot of other places. But I wonder, how are these people how are these people getting in positions and getting off? But I remember coming up, certain incidents when I was caught with a gun, it was more challenging for me, right? And what I discovered is that they have protection. They have people that advocate for them. Let me put it like this. And when I say in certain positions, I'm not talking about like anything illegal. Let's say like you have a legal firearm. A police probably approach you differently if you look a certain way. It is what it is. But these other people, they have protection. And what I started doing is doing my research, and I was like, well, why are we locked out of these mechanisms that they use for protection? And that's what I was showing you guys. I was able to get into this predominantly white gun club. I'm now a card carrying member, right? And so the same rights that they members get 24/7, 7 days a week, I now have access to the same lawyers,
Mm.
Now we talk about financial security, right? This is an investment on the insurance policy. So now anything pertaining to firearms, I have lawyers on retention, and I have access to what the club offers as far as like training. Because I never recommend, if you have a firearm, you think about getting a firearm, I recommend that you get training. If you don't have proper training, you're not going to the range on a regular, then you're just a fool with a gun. That's my personal opinion. Now I have access to the same protections they have, but a lot of us don't know this.
Okay. Thank you, Tech. Mr. LJ, my brother, one we listen to.
Hmm. This was a great show. Like I said, um, I pride myself in surrounding myself with positive people, people that I can sit down and talk to. That we talked about. I want to thank everyone for coming over to the show again, Joy. It's a love listening to you. Everyone else on here, y'all know how I feel about you all. Same people in the chat, much love to everybody. Tomorrow, like I said, we're gonna tomorrow on the Real Hammer Show. We're gonna do some tech, but we got a section of the show that we call "Get It Off Your Chest," and just piggyback for some things that were said here. I'm just gonna tell you, get your pen and papers out because we're gonna talk from food banks. We're gonna talk from um, blood banks. We're gonna talk from AC units. Okay. We're going to talk about some things that you might not even know. Joy said something. I'm going to tell you something very interesting about that toilet paper holder. And I'm telling you, bring your pen and paper. If you didn't know, you will know after tomorrow. Real talk.
Miss Real.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was talking to the hubby. But can y'all hear me okay?
Yes,
Yeah.
ma'am.
Okay, I wanted to kind of like just say I pretty much listened to the most of the show. Till it cut out. But I wanted to say to us, like we was talking about the history books or whatnot, and I said in the comments earlier that we as parents need to teach our kids what they're not teaching, because there's a lot of things. I'm 100% honest on this. There's a lot of things being in our DST group amongst y'all all know y'all some old cats compared to me, but just I mean I 100% honest. I've learned a lot of things dealing with our history that I did not know. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I appreciate y'all for that. But at the same time, if we don't know, we need to educate or get with some people that know. We need to educate ourselves, and we need to educate our kids. So the things that I definitely know that I've learned from y'all, and well, y'all know that hubby. He's all into it, and nothing against all that, but if we don't know, you got to inform yourself.
Right.
You got to look out there for that education some type of way. So I'm just saying though, like if don't be afraid to take in that knowledge. Either it be with the Black history, any history. It ain't just got to be our history. But me, I'm definitely trying to teach our history to my kids so they know.
Right.
And y'all know I got that one girl, y'all see no, she's gonna be somebody. When I mean she already somebody, but you get what I'm saying. That I think that's the biggest thing that I got out the show tonight is be informed about different cultures, different ways. Don't be afraid to learn this and that. And it ain't just got to be about culture. It could be about the street. Hey, learn the people you dealing with, bro.
Right. Right.
Learn them folks. even if you gotta admit, even if you gotta sit back and observe, learn those folks because definitely they will show their ways. So I hope that the people that are watching the show tonight learn some things or are informed on some things, and y'all catch us on the show tomorrow. I already know what I'm gonna say on Get Off Your MF Chest. And
what in what?
MF. I'm not gonna say it ain't my show. But you come to mind, you're gonna get it. I'm gonna say it, but just come to enjoy it, and I really enjoyed it because I know initially I hit J Mac up and I was like, bro, what you talking about tonight? What's the topic? He said this is. I said, well, I ain't gonna be able to. Because I mean, and I said it initially because I see it all day, every day for the last month, 2 months, and whatever. And I'm thinking, well, we're just gonna go over here. We're gonna have a good time and whatnot. Because sometimes you get tired of, y'all know what I'm feeling.
Struggle, the stress. Right.
The beating up. Right. So I was like, nah, I don't know if I want to participate in that topic tonight. But hey, I listened. I learned some things. Hey, ain't nothing wrong with that. Just it's sometimes you have to step out your comfort zone.
Right.
And in a way, I think we did that. I mean, at least for me, because y'all know me. I say a lot of things in the background. I don't come to the the forefront with it, but y'all know where my heart is.
Right.
So, anyway, y'all catch us, me and LJ tomorrow, 7:30 Central. So it's at 8:30 Eastern. I don't know y'all other time.
Yeah, 8:30 Eastern.
Put it in Google. It'll teach you something.
Thank you, Real. Now look at my brother over here. This dude right here. I have much love and respect for this guy. I got much love and respect for all my DST brothers and sisters, and much love for Joy. This brother right here, who helps me with this show, we help each other. I'm glad he gets on here and do his thing, and I'm proud of this man. That's my bro. So Mr. Bright-Eyed, the Bandit, and Bo knows my partner. Tyler.
What's up, y'all? What's up? I can't say we got a treat tonight. It was funny when I first got on. J Mac, like I said, he said was get your way here and be there. I get on, I see Joy and her bright smile. I see Tech and his bright orange hair. I'm like, what's going on? I'm like, J Mac, so you ain't gonna just let me know what's going on? So then once y'all start talking, I said, oh, so that's what we talking about. So with that being said, like I said, I'm full, y'all. Can you say full? I'm full. I'm full because when LJ speaking his knowledge, it's one thing. When Joy then give you that other part of the plate, then Tech come slap you a little bit. My thing is, if y'all not full, something wrong. Something wrong. I can say I enjoyed actually all of them actually, spitting their knowledge and educating. Can we change? I think that's like one of the big questions. Can we change? But I heard Real say informed. It's nothing wrong with being informed. When you able to be informed about something, when you be able to be educated about some stuff that you didn't know. I put this way, y'all. Before y'all leave, I guarantee you, Joy said something tonight. I guarantee you that. I guarantee Tech probably slapped y'all with something y'all didn't know. We ain't got to talk about LJ because we know he always hit us with something that we didn't know. And the good thing about it is, y'all know from DST, no matter if we talking streaming, if we talking about what we talking about right now, we always say, make sure you bring a pencil and paper because we might say something that you don't know. And tonight, hey, I got informed. But guess what? I can always rewind too and go back and say, dang, what Joy said? What Tech said? What LJ said? So again, even J Matt, even like I said, when he first asked me, and I'm shaking my head no, yeah, I was serious about that, y'all, because certain stuff when it comes to this is a little touchy for me, but it's that way because I get tired of hearing the same old, but we never do nothing about it.
Mm-hmm.
When it's time for us to vote, we don't. When it's time for us to try to figure out ways to not be check to check, we don't want to listen. Or we listen, but then we don't do the knowledge that we get. We don't take that knowledge to then make it better. You know what I'm saying? You gotta think about it. How many people can say they got a stimulus check, like Joey said, and didn't actually spend it yet?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Maybe you got some people out here didn't get none. I went to go to a place today. Don't say where I went, but I went to a place and I heard a man say about a check that the woman's supposed to get. She didn't go in and go let nobody know about it. But the longer each year go by, the more it grows because she ain't willing to go get it. But the woman don't really know that. And my thing is, when you're being educated about something, once you know it, you have to be able to be able to do it. And LJ said it right there. Stay woke, because if we don't stay woke, we gonna miss it. We gonna stay check the check. We gonna stay fussing about what we can and what we can't do. Well, actually, here's the problem, y'all. We can do it. You gotta do what? Listen to be able to do what it is that we want to do. Whether it's putting that stop sign down or putting the stop sign where one belongs. Mm-hmm. It's about that knowledge of what we always say, y'all. I'm gonna end it with that. Research. Do your research on whatever it is that you want to do. Like LJ said, there's certain books out there that I'm quite sure that's gonna teach you your background. Might be hard to find.
Right.
Your research. Same thing with, like LJ said, ain't nothing wrong with getting $1 million. Yeah, y'all, I was listening. I don't really want to tell them I was listening, but I was listening. That's the key thing for me. Anybody that know me, one of my favorite words is burnt. My other favorite word is listen. The reason why I say listen a lot to a lot of people, because that's one thing that's hard to do. When you arguing with somebody, it's hard to listen because you're trying to prove your point too. Yeah. But you can't hear them if you ain't listening. Mm-hmm. So how can you make a point if you ain't listening to what they saying? We too busy defending, huh? Come on, y'all. Like I said, LJ, I'm ending on this note, y'all. LJ said the best for me. I love my DSC team, and I enjoy. My favorite movie is It's a Wonderful Life, but that's my movie because you never know who's going to cross your path. You never know. We all here for some reason. But LJ said the best to me, y'all, when he said, hey, I'm looking at what you, I can't go by what you say. What you doing? When he said that to me, it means a lot. It didn't hit home until he slapped it in my head a couple times. And when he slapped it in my head a couple times, y'all, it make it easier for me to deal with the other people that's here in the streaming community that we do.
Right.
Like I said, you can say, and I'm going to say this, if you feel like I'm talking to you, I'm talking to you. You can say you ain't about drama. You can say you ain't about this and that. Come on, man. Come on, man. If you ain't about it, you know what I'm saying? You got to think about it, y'all. We see what a lot of people do in this community. One reason why I love DST, we crawl. Y'all see us get up. We own certain stuff. We walk in that walk, y'all. We walk in that walk. The reason why we walk in that walk is because I can't tell people don't do no drama. Every time I turn around, in drama. I can't tell people to say, hey, don't do this bad thing, but y'all see me doing this bad thing. That's why I love it when Joy said, hey, I got that money, but I ain't spend it. Yeah. But the key part about her saying she didn't spend it was this, y'all. I ain't got to tell y'all that I got it. Mm-hmm. Come on, y'all. I need some of that. I need that knowledge, y'all.
I'm gonna leave everybody with two words. 2 words I'm gonna leave y'all with. First, I want to thank everybody in the chat that came in. I saw a lot of comments that were made, positive comments. I love seeing that. I like to see where a lot of people enjoyed our conversation tonight. 2 words I'm gonna leave you with: respect and knowledge.
Man.
Knowledge and respect. And I'm gonna toot our horn. First, I'm gonna toot Joy's horn.
Man, toot.
Follow Joy if you haven't. She's a very beautiful person. I like her words and her conversations and her shows. She's out there doing it. Not just doing it one day out the week. She's doing it every day. Dropping that for you every day.
Mhm.
First and foremost, I love my DST.
Right.
My brothers and sisters, to Tech, to Real, to LJ, Bo, to our brother El Presidente. I don't owe you no more fire sticks. Dale, Rose, Dale, Will, and Jesus say. You know why? Because at any given time, minute of the day, hour of the night, we all have good conversations.
Mhm.
We can agree to disagree. Okay, we don't have to say this person is this high up, this person is there. We all on a level where we respect and love each other. That's why I love my DST. These are my people, my brothers and my sisters. Love y'all. Catch LJ.
Jemai, before you go, want me
Mhm.
to tell y'all one more thing about DST team. All of us have different businesses.
There you go.
All of us have different businesses. And guess what? If my business was to go down today and I'm dead broke, J-Mac, hook a brother up.
Got you, brother.
Bonos, hook a brother up.
Got you, brother.
LJ, hook a brother up.
Got you,
And
brother.
guess what? When I find out a business opportunity, I post it in our private chat.
That's right.
All day long.
Y'all have a round table already.
Man,
Yeah.
Hey,
Hey, and yeah, man,
Watch this. LJ forgot to say something that he usually
I
says.
was just about to say that, Jay, man.
I need him to say that. I need
So
him
bro
to
was
say
right. Yeah, I was just about to say, don't forget, man. One thing that we say: tell someone you love them, because tomorrow's not guaranteed. Real talk.
oh, baby. Real talk, baby.
Peace, y'all. Thank y'all for coming in.
Gang. DST in the house. Gang. We gotta get a gang sign. I don't know how you do DST.
Oh, snap. Good
Oh,
night.
Sign language.
whole lot.